to adopt the agenda.
Make a motion to adopt the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion and second. Discussion? Being none, all in favor, vote by show of hands. Thank you, council. Lisa, the minutes of the June 1st, 2015 regular meeting.
Monday, June 1st, 2015. Mayor Weaver called the meeting to order at 6 p.m. He requested Councilmember, sorry, been a mistake. He requested Reverend Max Kaler give the invocation. Councilmember Jim Looney led in the recital of the Pledge of Allegiance. Mayor Weaver asked that the agenda be reviewed and approved by council. Councilmember Jim Looney made a motion to approve the agenda, and Councilmember John Faust seconded the motion. Motion carried unanimously. Mayor Weaver recognized several members of the Boy Scouts of Pickens County working on a citizenship merit badges. They were attending the council meeting as part of obtaining this badge. Mayor Weaver had one of the leaders introduce all Boy Scouts in attendance. City Clerk Lisa Hoyle read the minutes of the May 4th, 2015 regular meeting. Councilmember Ann Snavy made a motion to adopt the minutes as read. Councilmember Tony Fountain seconded the motion. Motion carried with 4 votes. Allison Boyle abstained since she was not in attendance at the May 4th meeting. Item A under old business, Mayor Weaver recognized Sonny Underwood, Planning and Zoning Director, to present an alcohol license application to council for approval. He informed council that the new owners of Dunn's Food Mart had completed the application process and the required advertising had been met. They are now requesting that their application for a license to sell alcohol, beer, and wine by the package be approved. Councilmember Allison Boyle made a motion to approve the license to sell beer and wine, and Councilmember Ann Snavy seconded the motion. Motion carried unanimously. Item D under old business, Mayor Weaver stated that the city has not yet obtained additional quotes on the City Park baseball field fence replacement. He stated that he wished to table any action on purchasing until the next meeting. Following discussion, Councilmember Jim Looney made a motion to table the approval of fence replacement until the next council meeting to allow the city to obtain more quotes. Councilmember Tony Fountain seconded the motion. Motion carried unanimously. Item C under old business, Mayor Weaver recognized Clay Pilgrim of Russian & Company to present the 2014 annual financial audit. Mr. Pilgrim reported that the city had received an unmodified opinion on the financial statements. Mr. Pilgrim also stated that they noted one material weakness and 2 significant deficiencies in internal control, and that there were no instances of non-compliance. Councilmember Jim Looney stated that he would like to review the audit comments and add to the agenda at the next regular council meeting. Councilmember Jim Looney made a motion to accept the report and approve it for submission to the State of Georgia Department of Audits, and Councilmember Ann Snavy seconded the motion. Motion carried by unanimous vote. Item B under new business, Mayor Weaver recognized Mr. Sonny Underwood to give a report at the Planning Commission meeting. Mr. Underwood stated that at the May 28, 2015 Planning Commission meeting, Ms. Tanya Page had requested to annex parcel 053A-090 of 2.27 acres located at Cornett Road North into the city as Commercial 2 zoning. Mr. Underwood stated that there had been no letters or other notice of opposition, and that the rezoning request was advertised in the local paper. A sign was placed on the parcel, and all neighbors within 200 feet or directly across the road of this parcel were sent a notice informing them of the request and of the May 28, 2015 Planning Commission public hearing. Mr. Underwood stated that it was recommended by the Jasper Planning Commission that the property be annexed as requested. Following discussion, Councilmember Tony Fountain made a motion to accept the recommendation of the Planning Commission to annex parcel 05A-090 into the city as C2 property. Councilmember Ann Snavy seconded the motion. Motion carried unanimously. Item C under new business, Mayor Weaver recognized Amy Lee, Jackie Dunn, and Jerry Nectal with Downtown Alliance. The group gave a presentation on improving the city's business district and requested that the city fund a transportation survey using the 2015 cross funds. Councilmember Jim Looney made a motion to allow Mayor Weaver to work with the Downtown Alliance to obtain costs and proposals for a transportation survey. Councilmember John Faust seconded the motion. Motion carried by unanimous vote. Item D under new business, Mayor Weaver recognized Lonnie Waters to present the bids on the paving of Sanders and Burton Streets. Mr. Waters read the contractor bids as follows: Bartow Paving, $73,424. Blunt Construction, $68,985. C.W. Matthews Contracting, $92,433.18. Colditz Trucking and Paving Incorporated, $69,580. Johnson Paving, $63,322. Northwest Georgia Paving Incorporated, $64,645. Mr. Waters stated that Johnson Paving, who was the apparent low bidder, meets all specifications and bonding requirements. Councilmember John Bass made a motion to approve the city to contract with the low bidder, Johnson Paving. Councilmember Allison Boyle seconded the motion. Motion carried by unanimous vote. Item E, under new business, Lisa Boyle presented to council an application for reduced water sewer rates for approval. Following review by council, Councilmember Tony Fountain made a motion to approve the application. Councilmember Alan Sneedy seconded the motion. Motion carried by unanimous vote. Economic developer Jerry Neptall gave a report to council. Finance director Lisa Boyle gave the financial report for the month of May 2015. Lonnie Waters gave the animal control report for the month of May 2015. Chief Greg Lovell gave a report of police activities for the month of May 2015. Chief Steve Roper gave a report of fire activities for the month of May 2015. Mayor Weaver recognized Pickens County Commission Chairman Robert Jones as being present at this meeting. Being no other business to come before council, Councilmember Jim Loney made a motion to adjourn the meeting. Council is scheduled to convene next at the regular meeting on July 13th, 2015.
Entertain a motion.
The minutes be accepted as read.
Motion to approve as read.
Second.
Motion second. Discussion. Being all in favor, vote by show of hand. Thank you, council. Under old business, 2014 annual audit comments review. Lisa?
I took a copy of the Russian company letter that they included with the audit of the management letter, they call it, to the city council, listing the comments. The comment 14-1, and I'll read these off. The 2013 financial statements, it should be 14, financial statements were restated for the general fund to adjust taxes receivable. Recommendation management should verify that all assets and liabilities are correctly calculated and reported in accordance with governmental accounting standards. And I think Clay went over this pretty good last meeting. It had to do with the franchise tax for Georgia Power. It comes in pretty late. It had never been recorded before. It's $270,000 this 2014 versus $250,000 the year before. It's $20,000 difference, which affected the income statement by $20,000. But the materiality of it was that big old prior period adjustment of $250,000 had to go on the prior year's financials, which made them have to comment. This comment went to the state.
Right.
But, you know, we'll record it in the future. Comment 14.2. During audit procedures on occupational tax receipts, the client was unable to locate supporting documentation for 5 of the 25 items selected for testing. We were unable to trace the corresponding receipts to the deposit on the bank statement. Recommendation: adequate detailed supporting documentation should be maintained for all transactions to provide an audit trail to the audit. And this happened during a time the copier, I think, was torn up, and Michael was writing the information down, but some of the documentation was misplaced. This comment, along with the next comment, 14.3, while performing audit procedures in the building department, we noted that the same employee recording receipt transactions is also training deposit reconciliations for the same receipt transactions. It's a segregation of duties thing that they don't want the same person recording the transactions actually getting the money and keeping them, making the deposit out. So we corrected both of these comments by moving the collection of the building department receipts to the front. The finance department is now collecting, getting those collections, preparing the deposits. We have the records, and then the building department is keeping up with the actual recording of who's paid and who's not paid and collecting. Okay, comment 14.4. During audit procedures on traffic citations, we noted that officer traffic citations are not being issued to officers in sequential order. To correct this, and I spoke with Tanya, she's now locking all the ticket books in her office, and she's issuing them and keeping a spreadsheet on who's getting them, the date issued, and the book number. So that's been corrected. They did have a verbal recommendation, and I'll probably send y'all a capital asset policy update. Ours is a little bit outdated, and with the SPOS money coming in, and we're gonna be spending a lot on paving projects, right now, our threshold is $2,500 that we capitalize, and that's really too low for projects like that that really aren't increasing the life of the road. I mean, it's just more the resurfacing, repaving. Most other cities and counties don't capitalize that. So I'm going to write something up. I'm working on it now, and hopefully have it before next council meeting. Hopefully we can get that approved. That's all I have.
Any council questions?
I'd like to make a motion, we put the audit report into the minutes for record. Appreciate Finance Department's work on this year.
Okay. So this is going to be the final last acceptance.
Well, we've already accepted that, we'll put it into the minutes, which we
Okay.
tried to do in the past.
Okay. Entertain a motion. We've got a motion, second. A motion, second. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor, vote by show of hand. Thank you, council. Thank you, Lisa.
Good job, Lisa.
It starts again right now. Okay, item B, Downtown Alliance scope of work. You remember last month we had visitors from the Merchant Association and the Chamber. The Chamber were here to make the presentation. Jerry, I haven't had a chance to speak to you. I did receive, and council, you have in your notebook, the Downtown Transportation Enhancement Study that we asked to be sent to us, and we had a firm do this for us. And this is what we have to move forward with to get a fair bid from other engineers and architects that would be willing to enter into a contract with the city of Jasper to do this. So from this point, I'll open it up for just discussion, and any information that you might want that we may have for you, please feel free to ask.
Have you had a chance to run it by the Downtown Alliance?
No, I haven't. I have not met with them on this year. This kind of came in day before yesterday. And I think I actually received another copy today. Is that correct, Lisa, that had the photos with it? I'm trying, which I
The
haven't
map
seen.
should be in here.
Absolutely. It is.
And this is going to be a process that we've got to work into our SPOS budget. We are spending money, just let it bid last month, had paving, and this, I believe, I think we'll have the funding for it this year, where the numbers look so far and where the bids are coming in. But I'd like for the council to look over this. What I think we need to do is get with the chamber and the merchants and prepare from this a request for proposal from any firm that would like to submit. And with this, I think not only the bid process, but also an interview from the city council or a committee of the city council, and with the Merchant Association and the Chamber, the group that is heading this up from the Chamber, would be able to not only look for price or the best price that we could get from a firm, but as well as the best firm that would fit the needs for the city of Jasper at this time. So I think right now I would like to establish a committee from the council that would be willing to take this and work directly with our alliance from the Chamber of Commerce. Do you feel the same?
Great.
Okay, any volunteers? Okay, I got a volunteer, got two, I got three volunteers. I'll take three. Well, that'd make a quorum, wouldn't it? We might be able to decide what we'll do right there on the spot. I'll cut this down to two committee members. Jim and Allison, which one would you?
Announce.
Alex, you want to do it?
Let me suggest you get 2 from the other. I don't want a group of 30 people sitting
Right.
down with this. 5 would be plenty yourself and 2 council members and then 2 more from the Alliance.
Well, the Alliance is a group, we'll ask them to set up, it'll probably be, we'll let them decide who wants to serve on our committee, which will be an extension of the council, bring the council.
I'm hoping it doesn't
together.
end up being a large committee, that it's small enough that it is.
Okay, so right now, I'll recognize you as our committee from the council. I want a motion to approve this committee. Can I appoint him to that?
Second.
Okay, I think you're my appointee.
I will make that motion.
To accept it.
Yes.
I want everybody in charge of this. Okay, I've got a motion, what about a second from my appointees?
Second.
All in favor, vote by show of hand. That was unanimous, they voted as well, right?
I love volunteers.
Okay, thank you.
Love volunteers.
And I appreciate you guys. Okay, we'll bring a meeting together for you pretty soon. Item C, Lonnie, come up and help me explain this. Baseball park field repair. I don't think we're ready yet, so explain what happened, Lonnie.
Okay, we were working on trying to get 2 or 3 bids since the amount was larger than what we expected. And I made some phone calls, sent out some emails, and I couldn't get any response other than one person. So since it is the amount it is that, you know, they're predicting to repair the fence or redo it or whatever, this week and next week, we're gonna run it in the paper also and make sure that everybody has a chance to put in a bid that wants to. And we have received the 1 bid, sealed envelope, and then after that, we've exercised every way that we can to notify the public, and we'll just take the 1 bid. If no more comes in, if they do, then it will be opened in a bid opening just like asphalt and resurfacing.
So council, bear with us, we apologize for this. What happened is, we were in Lisa's office the other day trying to decide if we were going to accept that bid, and we realized that we had not advertised, and this number is large enough. We could just give it to them because they brought us a price, but I don't think that the public would appreciate that, just taking the first person that wanted to make the price. So we are going to bid this and advertise it and make as many contacts as we can. So that's where we're at. We realized we didn't have it in the paper at that particular time. So
Is the scope of work
we've got that.
I have a scope of work to give to anybody that wants a bid, to put in a
More than we
bid.
realized it was going to
Oh, it's expensive.
Thank
Did we
you.
have a figure in mind what we thought it would cost? Did the city have a figure in mind
We had an
of what we
estimate
thought it
idea.
might cost?
Give me an answer.
Yes, go ahead.
We sent a gentleman out to look at the project and bring us back what it was going to take plus a price. And then when we hit the price hit us, we said, we're sorry, we've got to let this bid. And so we've been trying, not that Lonnie has not had many projects to put before the bid process, so this one kind of has fallen through the crack because we've been dealing mainly with transportation. So anyway, that being said, we're going to have this ready for the council, guaranteed at the next
We'll
council.
get this week's paper and next week's paper, we'll go back for 2 weeks.
And if no one submits, we'll accept the bid that we have.
Is it just the fence or any more work going on?
Certain repairs around the fence, replacing a lot of the fence. And both fields.
But remember this year, we got fall ball coming too, Tony, so we definitely have it.
I didn't know if it was just the fence or if there's any, any.
I'll let you look at the work if you want to look at it, the scope of work we have. But anyway, we don't feel comfortable accepting this bid by itself, so we're going to wait 1 more month. Okay, with that, we'll table that to the old business again next month. Under new business, Pickens County Jail contract. We have with us tonight Sheriff's Officer Jeff Hall. Give me your rank, Jeff, that went out of my mind.
I'm the chief deputy.
Chief Deputy, I knew you was somebody. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you being here tonight.
Thank you.
Council, we've been working with the Sheriff's Department and somewhat, I'll have to admit, dodging the sheriff's department for some time now, but Jeff has finally got us in a meeting discussing the contract with the jail. Explain a little bit how we use the jail and get the council and our public up to speed.
Basically, in a nutshell, we house all the city prisoners when they're incarcerated. Normally, there's a fee attached. Because we've not had a contract, the fee could be imposed at the sheriff's discretion. By this contract, it allows the city, by law, to charge a surplus onto the original fines. So the entire burden is not on the taxpayers of the city, but the burden will be on the people who violate the law and have to pay certain fines. That 10% is on top of the original fines, which will be collected and distributed to the county. And this is, by law, a contract between the city and the county government, even though the sheriff's office is in charge of the housing and the jail. But this will allow the city not to incur all the money from tax revenue versus other means.
Mr. Pickett, you have anything to add to this?
Council, I have reviewed this contract. We've had kind of a set fee that we've been paying, supposed to be paying all these years. But in any event, this contract will alleviate our responsibility. We'll be collecting it from someone that gets a ticket or gets incarcerated. And I've read it. We need to approve it. We need to give the mayor the authority to go ahead and execute this contract because it's something that we need to do for our court system.
And also, Jeff, you'll touch base, you'll provide other services for us that will relieve the police officer of certain duties during the jailing process.
Yeah, we'll take over the bonding process. We'll make sure, and we've already talked to the chief and got some parameters on exactly how they bond. So basically, if they bring in a city prisoner, right now, your police officers are having to go over there and bond them out. We'll take on that responsibility, and we'll just make sure that the paperwork we're filling out, and this is not a normal, most other jurisdictions do exactly the same thing. And it'll alleviate us having issues once we have standardized procedures in our jail with the city on how we get, those particular inmates released. Plus, with this contract, it will help because in the bonding process, those things have to be incurred with a 10% also. So it will actually help the city police officers in a lot of ways.
And put some men back on the street much quicker, what we're saying. We'll entertain a motion, council.
Make the motion to approve, give the mayor permission to negotiate the contract with the sheriff's office.
Motion to approve this particular, I think you get a copy of your file. Motion to approve this contract.
Second.
Motion is second. Discussion? Any further discussion? Being none, all in favor, vote by show of hand. Thank you, council. Thank you, Jeff, for being here.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you.
SPLOST project contractor approval. Mr. Waters. See you, Jeff.
Mayor and council, the process for Burton and Sanders Street has been completed. The company that did it did a very good job. The only thing we like is having it striped. We have let out another bid for the following streets, which is Hood Road, Old Federal, Lawson Avenue, Twin Oaks Trace, and Jeanette Drive. All of those streets, we had 4 companies put in a bid for it, and those bids are as followed. Northwest Georgia Paving from Calhoun, $280,636.25. Bartow Paving out of Cartersville, $276,170.45. Block Construction out of Marietta, $320,962.90. And Johnson Paving, $269,763.75. So the apparent low bid is Johnson Paving at the $269,763.75.
Entertain a motion.
Make the motion, we take the low bid with Johnson Paving.
Have a motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Discussion. Being none, all in favor, vote with show of hands. Thank you, council. You mentioned painting and then went right on by, in case the
Yeah.
council bid on painting.
We are also letting out a bid, it's gonna be in the paper also this week, that a company come in and give us bids on striping all these roads. I assume that it's gonna be so much a foot or something like that, so that, because we're gonna do center lines and in some areas do the outside lines also. And one reason we're doing that now is so that we can get all these streets done at one time and get a better price. So there'll be no striping done until the resurfacing of these streets are completed. And then we are also putting together another bid package for next month on the south end of town.
Wow. You said Hood, Old Federal, Jeanette. What was the last street?
Lawson Avenue, Twin Oaks Trace,
Twin Oaks Trace, part of it's gotta be paved. This is where the houses for Habitat for Humanity were built, and we're having to pave that for the first time.
and also there's possible that there could be a change work order on this, because we're also going to have a pre-construction meeting with the company that you have elected about the intersection of Lawson Avenue, North Main, and Old Federal, where you pull out into the road at an angle. We're wanting to square that up and have an actual stop sign at a 90 degrees so you can look both ways. I've already talked with Northside Church. They're in agreement with letting us have enough grass there to make this happen. So other than the change work order, this bid here will be covered, just like the contract said.
And painting, that'll be next month. We'll have the bid ready for next month.
On the striping, yeah.
Right. And we're going to go out, have we put the white tape, no yellow tape down yet?
No,
That's something that may be done tomorrow.
right.
They'll have to wait until we get ready to paint, and they'll just keep people from one side of the road together more safely. Okay, any questions for Lonnie?
Any thought of the paving companies doing the striping as they go through, including that in their contract?
They don't, they don't paint.
Not anymore. They, even the DOT has quit striping.
Really?
And you have striping companies that they hire,
Yeah, they bring them in as a sub
yes.
to them.
Well, we've got a few that do excellent work, and of course, if someone comes in with a low bid, we'd have to look to see how good a job they give us for the amount of money we pay, and sometimes we're not happy with painting. So we'll build up a record quickly that's why I'd like to have a small project to see what quality of work that they would, because you pave a do a beautiful job paving, and the paint job doesn't look good. It's kind of messes up the whole project.
And also, in relation to your question, the asphalt companies have told me that if we can let it cure out a little bit before we paint it, the paint will last much, much longer, instead of putting it on right behind the asphalt.
On the Hood Road part, Lonnie, are they gonna fix the railroad tracks?
I have been in cooperation with the railroad company. They've already moved in new rails. There's 2 sets of tracks there. They're gonna take one set completely out and just have one set of tracks. They've got the rubber bumpers that goes on the tracks, like we did here in front of Walgreens. They're making preparation to do all that. It was put in the contract that these asphalt companies doing the resurfacing would be working in conjunction with the railroad company and fixing that crossing.
And Lonnie mentioned also is that we sent out already for the bids for the 4 miles south of town, right? On the south side.
So that's not been mailed out yet.
They're getting
It's going
close.
out this week.
Okay. So we're looking at every road from South Main Street all the way to 53, Elizabeth Street, Moore Street, everything in that quadrant. It's approximately 4 miles.
Yes, and then from Dogwood, the city has part of Dogwood in the city limits. And there, back to town, Connell, Clydewood Street, West Cellar Street, and a portion of Middle Springs.
And the county's moving in any day, and they're gonna do from South Main Street at the city limits line to the four-way stop. And that's gonna be a city county project.
Are we putting any of this in the progress list, on the streets that we intend to pay for the residents there to kind of get a heads up and know when they're going to
If Angela don't get this, she's missing a good opportunity right now.
And we,
But no, to answer your question, not yet, but we're gonna start notifying.
and we have been we put the last ones and we put this one on the city website. I sent Mary some information and I was posting photographs and trying to keep the people informed of the progress during the asphalt job that they were doing. So we are trying to inform people.
How long did it take to pay Burton and Sanders?
They came in on Thursday, did the grinding of the bad places, got it ready, did some curb work, and they got all that done on Thursday. They moved in Friday morning, and they were gone by a little after 4 on Friday evening.
So they paid both streets on one day?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, but it'll take a little bit longer.
But
3 days.
with South Main and what we're doing north of these three total bids will be approximately 8 miles of paving by September. So maybe latter part of October, depending on when they move in. But it's a lot. This is more fun than doing it ourselves. I promise you. And the paving companies that are bidding are excellent companies. So either we get those jobs, and we're getting good bids right now. Really good bids.
And we've got good history with Johnson paving name.
Well, they did a good job with this.
Thank you, Lonnie. Mr. Underwood, Mr. Pickett, ordinance amendment, land use permit.
Our zoning ordinance did not provide for certain new definitions of an airport and airport services with hangars and fuel. We need to add that to our zoning definitions, and we're proposing, and this will be the first reading, to amend Article 5, Section 94-81, District standards and permitted uses, add the words airport and airport services with hangars and fuel to permit uses under Section 94-81 as C2, which is general commercial, and M1, general industrial.
Entertain a motion to approve this as our first reading.
So moved.
A motion. Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, vote by show of hands. First reading. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Sonny.
Sir,
Thank you.
I just didn't want to annoy you with my cough.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Bill. Reduced water rates application, Lisa?
I have one application, I'll pass it around. They meet the requirements and brought in their ID and everything that we needed to see. We recommend that you approve that one.
entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we accept the reduced water rate application.
Second.
Motion is second, discussion. Being none, all in favor, vote by show of hands. Thank you, Councilman. Okay, mayor's report, economic development, Jerry Nagatoff.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm pleased to be with you this evening, and I'd like to start by, first of all, thanking the mayor and the council for their support, or for your support, of the Chamber of Commerce's Downtown Alliance Committee and their efforts to try to enhance our business community. I thank the mayor acting so quickly to try to get the items taken care of that we requested last month. Really shows, I think, our community, how dedicated that this group is to making things better for our citizens. And that support and the speed of which, like I said, the mayor responded, I think is just fantastic, and I know everyone really appreciates it. The other thing I wanted to share is the Tom Cruise movie got wrapped up in ball ground, and everybody seems to think that overall, there's a lot of inconveniences, but I think overall it had a positive impact on the community and the surrounding area. A lot of people came up while they were filming. The production company was very open about when they were filming and the locations. And I think that'll be a carryover. I think Ball Ground will enjoy people coming up because of the publicity that they received during that process. So, Governor Deal just came out and said that this is a $6 billion industry to the state. And Florida just did away with their movie incentive, so I do think this will continue to grow and hopefully create more opportunities for our entire area, and of course Pickens County and the city of Jasper specifically. We did have one location scout come up, look for several different locations. The movie is based on a kind of outdoor theme, so it really kind of fits well with our community. On a couple weeks back, the production company actually came into town to look at some specific locations. And, I think they were very pleased with what they saw. Of course, the next step is they go back and look at everything and then start making some decisions from there. So again, industry, that segment's very strong and moving in a positive direction. We, as far as through the economic development program, we consider movie opportunities, really kind of tourism opportunities because it does generate direct impact, but then also you have the residual of people coming up to the community. So along those lines, we had a conservation trust that contacted us. They had purchased some property in the northern part of the county that are interested in building a passive recreation park that would be open to the public. They talked about different ideas such as bike trails, maybe a frisbee golf course. Again, it's all passive recreation because it is held in a conservation trust. I suggested hang gliding, but they said there was too many trees, so that really didn't go over too well. So, what we need is, we're certainly receptive to some other ideas. The individual that came and met with us will be attending our next tourism committee meeting, and we'll be talking about it further. But again, if there's, anyone who has ideas about what this property could be used for as a benefit to the community, as well as a way to attract people into the community, we're certainly very receptive, and they're welcome to attend the committee meeting or just contact me. On the industrial side, a couple different opportunities. One, I'm going to have to be kind of evasive again, and I do apologize, but one of our local companies has obtained a contract for a new piece of business. It's really kind of cool and exciting, and it will also create some jobs. So that was good news, and you'll be hearing more about that as they allow me to be more open about it. But again, it's kind of one of those things that will be creating some good quality jobs, and it's kind of a neat segment on top of it. So again, I know it's been kind of a long meeting. I'm just back from vacation. I'm trying to get all caught up and everything, but I'll be glad to answer any questions at this time, and if there's none, I'll just wrap it up from here.
We're only 40 minutes into it.
It seemed like long.
It was hard to get up and put on the start shirt.
Yes.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thanks, Jerry.
Financial report, Lisa?
In your packet, you have the financial report. We're halfway through the year in this report, so every department is under budget, under 50% of our expenditures, so that's good. The general fund, we collected $86,888 in sales tax. Compared to the prior year, for the same month, $83,125, and last month we collected $83,098. In the general fund, we're about to order another police car, which was in the budget, was approved last year. I need to tell you. Hotel motel looks funny right now, because we're about to make some payments to him. Catch that up. In our SPOS fund, our 2014 SPOS, we're in cash and bank now with almost $731,000. That's before our 2 projects that he talked about. The one that hasn't been completed hasn't been, we haven't written a check yet. We haven't, the one that we just had bids on. Water and sewer fund, we're at 49% of our expenditure, but almost 54% revenues collected. That's good. That's all I'm gonna go over. Y'all have any questions?
Council?
Good job, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa. Lonnie, animal control? You've been out doing animal control in your spare time?
Yes, sir. This so happens pretty mild. I've just had 10 calls in the last month, and everything's going good, not having any problems.
Don't have any good story. Council love this section. You gotta get the story.
It's so entertaining.
Who do what?
It depends on where that snake was.
I
It
laugh.
it was at a lady's carport. It wasn't no problem. No
Problem for her.
Yeah, it was for her, but no problem. Biggest problem is where we did the water control over behind Jacobs Point. There's some groundhogs boring in under that, and I'm in the process of trying to get those out. That's the biggest
No,
thing.
on my way.
Okay.
Thank you, Lonnie. Chief Lovell?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Jasper Police Department for the month of June responded to 802 calls for service from the 911 center. Responded to 38 motor vehicle accidents, issued a total of 136 citations for the following: 2 DUI, 85 speeding, 5 seatbelt, 13 for shoplifting, 2 uninsured motorists, and 28 miscellaneous, and 1 suspended or revoked. Georgia State Patrol issued a total of 99 citations for a total in city court 235. 13 state warrants were taken, 2 for violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act felony, 3 for obstruction misdemeanor, 1 DUI misdemeanor, 1 failure to maintain lane, 1 speeding, 1 shoplifting, 1 battery, simple battery, 1 cruelty to children, a 3rd degree misdemeanor, damage to property, and 2nd degree felony, 1 simple battery misdemeanor. Miscellaneous calls answered: 53 alarm calls, 15 disorderly calls, 5 harassments, 10 trespassing, loitering, 64 suspicious activity, 25 domestic, investigated 3 burglaries.
Questions, council?
Had the pork go.
We good.
Very, very, very peaceful for us. We had one a little disorderly at the fireworks, and that's every year somebody, some hollers and want to take off his shirt and fight. So. That's standard.
No, not Jasper.
You didn't say that, did you? I see that Chief Roper's not with us tonight. You done, aren't you? Mr. McAllister, Fireman McAllister. I can't believe you didn't go with them.
I gotta lose somebody. Mayor Council, I have a total of 123 calls for June. 2 structure fires outside the city limits, 1 vehicle fire outside of the city limits, no grass or brush fires, 12 automobile accidents with injuries, 2 inside, or 12 inside city limits, 2 outside, for a total of 14. 43 medical calls within the city limits, 39 outside of the city limits, for a total of 82. Other miscellaneous calls is gonna be 18 inside the city, 6 outside, for a total of 24. We had 73 total calls inside the city, 50 outside, gives us our total of 123 with a year total of 712. Fire inspections had no plans to review and conducted 14 inspections throughout the month.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Thank you.
Questions, council? Thank you, Zeth.
Thank you.
John, tell us a little bit about JYSA. What's going on with you guys?
Oh, it's busy, it's busy. We got, we got some wrestlers still wrestling, going out doing the national events, doing real well. One of our child come in third at the national event. That's not nothing to sneeze at, doing real well. Everybody's getting ready for fall ball, we're fall, baseball, and no footballs in gear too, cheerleading gear, everything's getting busy. And they also got a little golf tournament coming up on the 22nd. You want to tell them about it?
The 22nd, I believe we're going to have 35 teams, and it's falling right into place. We've got rounds of golf to give away. We've got a lot of donations. The sheriff department donated, what they donated? Packets of food. It's just amazing the contributions that we get from the community for this. And I think we tell everybody if they contribute to us, we won't have all these teams hitting them. We've got the money for them already. It never works that way, but it's going to be, I think, very successful, being it has been in the past. What annual is this? The 5th annual?
It's getting there, it's getting there. And to make a point now, just let's go, the proceeds help all the sports and also helps pay for the Jasper gym. So, I mean, it goes a long way and definitely helps the community, and not just the citizens of Jasper, but it helps the citizens of Pickens County too.
Did we get the water cooler repaired?
We're working.
Okay, and check with Jerry on that. Okay, anything else, John?
Well, that's about it. If you got any questions or anything you want to know, go to Mary's side or go to Jasper Dragons, JYSADragons.org.
Okay. Well, guys, any other council members want to make a report on anything? The car show is coming back to town. Good news, we're not going to close the road. They're going to visit us the third Saturday, and they're going to back in like we did back in the old days and sit on the car hoods and whatever. But the best part about this is that people who want to see the old cars, besides the owners of the old cars, will be able to ride through town and view. Before, you would have to stop, find your parking place off Main Street, walk into downtown, which was quite a chore more often than not. So I think we'll have a much better response. We're going to give them also the opportunity, if they want to close down Depot Street, which is a very lightly used street, and they can use that for anybody who wants to be off the Main Street. But I think it'll turn into an event where we can have maybe entertainment on that street and create an environment for downtown that maybe that will make this grow instead of being a hindrance to traffic flow and business. It's still going to need to slow down, come through town and observe the rules of the road, because we have a lot of people walking around town that day.
What day is that?
I guess, I'm sorry,
What day is that?
the third Saturday.
Third Saturday.
If you've noticed that we've been removing a lot of trees on Main Street, these are the trees that have pretty much experienced all that they could experience. And they've been taken out. We've got a couple more that need to be removed. And I take this time to thank the sheriff and the sheriff department for bringing their inmates and assisting the city in removing those trees. And like I said, we have a few more to go. And the 4th of July, I haven't heard anyone complain about the event. That we had a little bit of rain that on the 4th of July, so that usually hampers the spirit just a little bit. But anyway, we got through that with no injuries or fatalities. Just make sure they haven't, John asked you. But anyway, everything's moving along pretty good. We're getting ready for cooler weather as soon as this heat wave leaves us, and it's hard to get the guys out there and build a day when it's 91 to 95 degrees. So we're going right along. Anyway, with any other business, council, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Thanks. thing, council, just a side note, since I didn't say this, it's written in red on my agenda. Next month, because of the late date we're getting our advertising in, I'm asking the council to consider the second Monday again for our meeting instead of the first. With that, it should be on the 10th day of August. So anyway, that's unofficial, but that's what you're going to be notified. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here tonight.